I would have to say this is a definite must stop if you come to Serbia. We are here in Donji Milanovac and we took the bus here. It is a really small town and it looks like nothing when you drive through it, but there is so much to see and learn right here. And we're right here on the water. Right across the Danube is Romania, which is so cool to just look out your window and see another country. And we were looking for things to do and we saw a kayaking tour. So we are gonna get on kayaks today. We were kind of hoping it was gonna be a little warmer. It's about 19 degrees today, but it's gonna be great. We're gonna see some amazing places from the water. We're really excited about it. Our tour starts at 10. I think it's gonna last about 4 to 5 hours. It's gonna be great.
King Decibel, who was a king of Romania.
It's from 2004, right? Or the 2000s. And it was a private investor. A guy took his own money and he had that done. Normally the Danube is super, super calm, but today...
Wind's coming out of the west.
There we go. And the winds coming out of the west are rougher, or?
Yeah, it just changes direction because the flow is obviously down, so now the wind is going towards pushing up the water. That's why you get the white cap.
Learn something new every day. Right here is about 60 meters deep, and he said it's really popular for catfish. And he said they can get huge here, like over 100 kilograms huge. And Michael was saying there's, because of the opening, with the narrow opening, there's a lot of food and just stuff that gets caught up there through that narrow opening as the river's rushing through. And the catfish, they're bottom feeders, they love to hang out there and just eat. One of the reasons why we came on this kayaking tour is to see Tabula Traiana, and it was I believe, the marker for the bridge that went over the Danube. King Decibel was building a bridge, which I think there's still some pillars that you still can see close by. This marker was actually 50 meters lower because the Danube was lower. This was before they built the big dam, the hydroelectric dam. And when they were building the dam, they knew the water level was going to rise, and they were actually thinking of just keeping it below water and not preserving it. They didn't want to break it up into pieces, so they had to mine around it, and they pulled it out in one big block, which was like, I read it was like 350 tons. They pulled this out and then they moved it. So it's not in its original spot, but it's really cool to kind of see. Just finished our 3-hour kayaking trip down the Danube, and it's what time is it? It's about 3:11. We heard that the Lepenski Vir closes around 5, so we are hoping to jet out of here and head on over to the oldest settlement in Europe. So we found out that the museum, or the Lepenski Vir site, is open until 8. We're looking for a taxi now. The main thing, if you Google Donji Milanovac, the Golubac fortress is gonna pop up. overshadows this really cool, amazing historical spot. So if you Google oldest settlement in Europe, a place in Bulgaria pops up, and then a few other places like in Greece and I think in Italy pop up. But according to their research and their finds, this seems to be the oldest settlement in Europe. And they don't know the exact date, but I think it was saying 9500 to 7500 BC, something like that. It's known for being really organized and a well-preserved find. No wonder why they settled here. That view is pretty awesome. One of the things that makes this place so significant, even if it's not the oldest, technically the oldest settlement in Europe, but before this time, like before people settled down, they were just following their food. You know, they lived a very nomadic lifestyle. So I'm just thinking right now, like how scary that would have been if you're used to always on the go, always following your food, and then to just decide on this place and just settle down. This is really cool. So Donji Milanovac, this is definitely a sight to see. One really cool fact is this place was pretty much just discovered. It was discovered in the 1960s, 1970s time. We just finished up at the museum, and I gotta say, I'm impressed. I was not expecting half of that. We walked in, there was a 15-minute video and this nice stadium seating. There was like an interactive computer layout they had of, you know, what the settlement would have looked like. They obviously had the grounds there, and they had an amazing view of this massive rock here. There was a lot of information. I would have to say this is a definite must stop if you come to Serbia.
It is our last day in our Airbnb here this morning, and we are checking out to get a bus bright and early to Niš. That was our view for the past few days, and we sure are gonna miss that. So after a pretty uneventful bus trip to Niš, we are finally here after 6 hours, but we are not staying here. We are renting a car and we'll be driving out west for about 3 days before we come back here.